Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
Welcome to episode 16 of the Siri Bek Show on Wisp Sports Radio. I'm Siri Lindley. And I'm Beck Keith. And at Wisp Sports, we believe that women in sport deserve equal coverage. The Siri Bek Show is where we share our life experiences because sport is a vehicle through which we have found our true selves, and we hope to inspire you to do the same. The Siri Bek Show is presented by Rest Performance, introducing the world's only smart bed designed for athletes. I personally recommend this bed as a training and recovery tool for all my athletes. With 5 separate body zones that provide targeted pressure relief, as well as innovative technology that automatically adjusts to your personalized comfort settings, the Rest Smart Bed revolutionizes the way you sleep and recover like no other mattress. Learn more at restperformance.com. And today we're going to be talking about our greatest mentors and your support network and how important that is.
Yes, and I can't wait to get started.
But before we get started, Siri, I want to mention this because I think it's very important for people that have either just given birth or have kids or family or trying to juggle everything. Can you give us some tips for these people? Because I saw that Marinda Carfra on the weekend had another incredible win at Augusta. She has, Izzy's over a year old, I think now.
Just a year, yeah.
And an amazing day, her and Tim both winning, and that's been a while since they've done that. But the way she's been racing, for her to have that stellar bike and win a race after just giving birth a year ago, to come back and do that, like, what are some tips for these people out there that say it's all too hard, or what would your advice be? Because she really has shown that it can be done.
I'm so incredibly proud of her. I mean, she truly is back at a whole new level, number one, and also just with so much hunger and fire and passion. And I couldn't be prouder of her, but I don't think that she would have the kind of energy she has right now if we didn't manage the pregnancy like we did. I remember at the time when she told me she was pregnant, and I said, okay, I want you to be pregnant. Enjoy being a pregnant woman. Take this time. Let's make sure that this baby is healthy and strong and that you take good care of yourself. Don't worry if you put on weight. Just be a pregnant woman. And a lot of people were like, Siri, you're crazy. You can't just have her stop training and do nothing at all. And then as she started putting on weight, I had so many people saying, Siri, what's up? My God, she's putting on so much weight. And I was like, yeah, she's pregnant. She's going to have a baby. So we decided to take this whole time to truly embrace the pregnancy so that she could feel confident that she was going to have a healthy baby. And once Izzy was born, we wanted to make sure that she took that time to truly connect with her newborn and to be a mom and to get into a good rhythm. And so we took basically a year off from training and definitely off from racing. But I think it just allowed for her to truly embrace motherhood, and also had her at a point where she was so hungry to get back into the sport again. And that kind of mental and emotional desire is huge.
So for all you women out there that have just had a baby or are pregnant, you put on like 30, 40 pounds. I know Rinny put on, I'm not going to guess the amount, but it was a lot. And it didn't faze her. It didn't faze Siri. Obviously, there are people concerned. There was other athletes that have had babies and tried to come back and just haven't been able to do what she's done. And I think embracing the pregnancy has just allowed her to come back faster, stronger, and fitter than ever before. And it's definitely a mental thing too. I think she's racing now and she knows that the pressure's not there. She has a beautiful baby that's going to love her no matter whether she won or came last at the finish line.
Exactly. And so embrace your pregnancy. Don't train hard through it. Give yourself a mental and an emotional break and see yourself strengthen and your passion increase through the whole process of taking some time to truly focus on you and your family. And then when you come back, you'll have more fire than you've ever had before.
So talking about embracing that and being having your support network and being a mom and having a family, I think it's really important that we touch on our support networks as we went through our sport as professional athletes. And I think it's so important for every athlete out there, age group, weekend warrior and pro,
to really be grateful for their incredible support networks that they have. And I know that some of us are better at this than others. So you guys all need to remember how important that is.
It's true. We couldn't do it without our support network. Both you and I, we talk about this a lot, that if it weren't for those people that supported us and believed in us, we may not have taken our careers as far as we did. I think the biggest thing that I used to struggle with as an athlete in the beginning is I thought, this is so selfish. I'm out here, working to be the best that I can be every single day, and this is so selfish. I'm all obsessed with me and being the best I can be. But what you have to realize is, if you start thinking about, okay, yes, I am working hard to be the best that I can be, but what in the process am I giving to others? Well, you are providing a great example of taking on a goal, putting your heart and soul into it, and doing the best that you can to achieve it. You are setting an example of, determination and courage and being brave. And you're inspiring other people to do the same. You're inspiring other people to get out of their comfort zones and take on something that's a little bit scary. What about you, Beck?
Yeah, I think on the race course, it's as a professional, you do get wrapped up in yourself, and you can be quite selfish. And I remember, being young and immature and emotionally mature, and not being thankful to the incredible volunteers that stand out there for 20 hours a day. And some of those guys, I include them in my support network, because if it wasn't for them, the races wouldn't even happen. And I know there's been athletes where they'll throw the water at the volunteer or not thank them. And I think you have to be remembering in those moments that these people are out there giving their time just like your family. I mean, I've followed an Ironman a couple of times. It is so boring. I would rather be racing, even though it hurts like hell. And I think athletes forget how hard it is for the family. Like, they've got to be at the swim, then the bike, and they're trying to track you and find you. And it's, for Boulder, it was 100 degrees and there's no wind when you're standing still, as much as when you're moving. I say to Siri, but when you're moving, you have a little bit of airflow. But when you're standing there supporting, it is hard, and you have to be really grateful for your incredible mom and dad and partner and kids that are up at like 4 a.m, getting you ready for that race. Like, don't forget to thank them amongst all those nerves.
Absolutely. That's such a great point. And I think in those moments where you are suffering and struggling and you do want to throw a water bottle or get upset, how about in that moment you think, right now I can be an example that when you're going through something really, really hard and when you're really struggling, that if you can still be kind and be respectful and find something to be grateful for, you will feel so much better and you'll get out of that tough moment a lot quicker.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so, Siri, we also wanted to talk today about mentors. So who were your greatest mentors? And I do know most of them, but there's probably some that when you're younger that you looked up to that people don't even know about. So who would you say you went to Brown University, you're a 3-sport athlete, and you studied, what were you majoring in? I forget.
Psychology.
Psychology, of course. And who were your greatest mentors as a growing through university?
My greatest, so when I look back at mentors, I feel that there are people that kind of show me the type of person that I want to be. That is a guy that I still call to this day a big brother to me. His name is Marvin, and I remember being like an 8-year-old little girl, and I was terrified, and I felt invisible. And he's someone that, he had such this lively personality. He was so kind and loving to everyone around him. And he saw me, he would come up to me and say, "Hey, Siri, how's your day going? What are you up to this summer?" And he was just one of the very few people that I felt at that time made an effort to let everyone know that they mattered and that he cared. And I thought to myself, I want to be a person like that. I want to be a person that really listens and is present for the people around them and cares about people and wants to bring out the best in all those around them. So Marvin, for sure, was one of those mentors of the type of person I wanted to be. But the biggest mentor, I'd say, besides my mom, who's been my greatest mentor my whole entire life, but someone that taught me something about life that changed my life forever is Tony Robbins. And you know that whole story, and a lot of people know that story. Why
don't you tell them quickly just how he affected your life initially when you were 23, was it?
20 years old.
Because some people might not know that story. It's pretty incredible, really.
Yeah, I was, and I'll try and make this shorter than the real story, but I was in college, Brown University. It looked like I had it made on the outside, but on the inside, I was just absolutely dying inside. I had a horrible case of OCD. I was riddled with anxiety. I was suffocated by my fears, and I was just lost. I didn't know who I was, and my will to live was slowly dwindling. And just one night I was in the library and I came across this book called Unlimited Power, written by Tony Robbins, and I was just drawn to it. So I started reading this book, and I literally read it nonstop, cover to cover, that night. And it wasn't anything complex. It was what Tony Robbins did is he awoke me to the truth that we are in control of our experience of life. It's what we focus on. It's the meaning we give things. It's what we decide to do about it that changes everything for us. Because the biggest statement that I'll always remember, he wrote, "What is real and what is possible is what I believe is real and what I believe is possible," meaning that like we decide what we want to achieve in our life, what needs to be done to get there. And he taught me that, what we focus on completely changes the trajectory of our lives. We can focus on what's missing all the time, and we will always feel like we're lacking in our lives. Or we can focus on what we have and what we want and what we have control over, and that empowers us to truly create the lives that we dream of. And he changed my life. I say he changed my life. He gave me the insights and the understandings to empower myself to live my life differently and take control of my life and become the person that I dreamt of becoming.
And it's pretty crazy to think now that you're actually talking on the stage in front of 13,000 people for Tony Robbins, as he's become a really great friend. And it's actually crazy to think that this was I won't say your age, but about 25 years ago. So that's where I say somehow the world or God or whoever you believe in, it creates something possible for you if you send it out there and you ask for that, or you're thinking about that. And that's where I think with you, Siri, somehow anything that you ask for, anything that you want to achieve, or anything that you're just so grateful, I feel like it always comes back to you in some way, shape or form, whether it at first doesn't feel like a gift, it ends up being an incredible gift. And it may have been a huge struggle to start with, but that's just an amazing story.
Well, thank you, Beck. And I feel so eternally grateful to now have the opportunity to serve on his mission of just wanting to empower people, to help people get out of their own way. We do so much in our lives, these patterns that we're stuck in that hold us back and that cause us pain and suffering. And it's a matter of, finding your way back to your truth. And that's what Tony has helped me do. And I'm so incredibly grateful. And to be able to speak and share his message and how his message changed my life is the ultimate gift and blessing in the world. And as far as, things coming into your life, it's all about proving to yourself that what you think is impossible is not impossible. It's possible. You've got to do the work. You've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to be disappointed and never, ever give up. And if you're relentless and you're hungry and you're determined and you do whatever it takes to learn and grow and make the progress necessary to achieve your ultimate dream, then you will. Everything will be possible. So it's not just me. Anybody can create this life. You've been doing it yourself. Look at how your life has changed. Everything that you set out to accomplish, you achieve with flying colors. And it's so amazing to see because you have that same relentless attitude where, yes, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be so worth it in the end.
But I wanted to add in too, for those who don't know Tony, he didn't come from a wealthy background. He came from a huge struggle. He was at the point where his mother couldn't even afford to put food on his plate. And it's just incredible. I mean, I think he ended up he's feeding something like almost a billion Americans now. everything he makes almost goes back to some sort of charity or Feeding America. And for someone who came from nothing like that, and this is stories that we hear all the time when we go to these events, and it's just incredible to think of, just like you, I mean, it's on a completely different level, but you couldn't even swim, and who are you to think that you could win a world championship or be the best in the world when you couldn't even swim? So there's definitely some incredible parallels there as well. So
absolutely. Yeah. And I know that he's affected you as well, Beck, but tell us about who your mentors have been, your greatest mentors.
I think growing up, being a twin, an identical twin, and all you identical twins out there can understand, and I'm very proud because my identical twin actually has identical twin girls, which is very fun times when we walk down the street on the Gold Coast with a pram with identical babies and we're identical twins. And no, Siri doesn't get us mixed up, although it has happened on one occasion. We won't go there. But my sister definitely, for me, was a mentor growing up just because, and she's going to laugh at this because I don't think she saw it like this, but it is absolutely true if you ask my mum. She was better at everything. And this is where Siri and I are very similar, although Siri has obviously achieved incredible feats and had a very different life to her sister, but we were both like the little shadows. Like, we wanted to be like our sister. Our sisters were both better at school, better at sport. My sister was school captain. She had all the boys, everything like that. And I'd always look up to her and go, I wish I could just be like my sister. And for me, that was the greatest gift in that struggle, speaking about struggles, because she pushed me to find myself and to find something that I loved about me. And because I was always competing, and when you're younger, you just want to be seen. And she was always the most popular and getting the higher grades, and it was hard to live. And I feel terrible because she probably feels bad about this because she doesn't even really realize, but I tell her now, I say, well, you pushed me to be the athlete that I could be and to achieve the dreams I did in the sport because you were always better than me. So I was always striving to be better. And I remember the first year in cross country, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I think she'd gone out the night before underage, she used to change her license to she put a little bit of white out, which is that cover up stuff on her license, and backdate the age. It was so obvious. I'm like, they can so tell you've changed the year to 76. And she'd go out with her friends, and I'd be getting out of the door to go swim training at 5 a.m. and I'd have my sister's PJs, her pajamas, and she'd be coming in from my mum's going to kill her when she hears this. She'd be coming in from a night out, literally from being out clubbing. It didn't happen that often, and I'd give her her pajamas and I'd go out swim training thinking, I feel so good. I've had 10 hours sleep. I'm going to go work out. And here's my poor sister coming in the door smelling of alcohol. And I remember one morning, Mum actually heard her coming in and she was like, what are you doing awake, Simone? And thank God she just put her pajamas on. She's like, oh, Beck woke me up, so I got up. And she literally had just gotten home. And that was driving me just to say, I know I can, this is something I can be. It was more about being better than her because I was young. I was 16. It was more about being better than my sister. And I thank her for that. So she was one of my greatest mentors. And then I had a Russian coach his name was Michael Urshu. He was head of Australian swimming, and I remember going to him and I couldn't swim, and he said, and I was I think I was 13 or maybe a little older, and Mum brought me there and said, can you teach my daughter to swim? I had to swim more than 50 meters. I could swim. And he said, 1 hour time trial, go now. And I'm like, what? And after 30 minutes, I stopped. And he said, why are you stopping? And he threw the kickboard at my head, and I was terrified of him. And I never went back to him. I hated it. I remember Mum would send me to swim training and I would spend the $5 on potato cakes and dim sims and going down the water slide, and I never trained. But full circle, I'll quickly sum this up. When I was 16 and I wanted to do triathlon, I went back to him because I knew that's what I needed. He was such a hard ass, and he was tougher than Brent Sutton. He was tougher than you, Siri, and he made me realize that I had to learn to tolerate pain. And he would say, I remember him one day, the biggest thing he would say, I said, I'm really hurting. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I said that out loud, but he looked at me and said, you don't know what pain is. And I went, whoa, this is pain. And he grabbed his knuckles and he ripped them down the wall, which was like a graded wall, and all his knuckles were just teared up. And he said, that is pain, now go. And it was like 100 hundreds or something. And I just remember thinking, holy shit, excuse me. I was like, this is what I need. And at the time, I freaking hated it, but he taught me how to suffer and how to be a real athlete. And from then, everything was easy after having him as a coach. So he was one of my, I hope he gets to listen to this because he was amazing. He was definitely an integral part of me becoming, I was a junior world champion at the end of that year. So it worked.
Unbelievable. That definitely worked. And what a gift to realize or to gain some perspective as to what pain really is, because it shifts everything, doesn't it? Yeah. So that's awesome. I love that story. One of the things I just wanted to mention of someone that was also a mentor, and I know you know Yoli and you love her as well, my first triathlon coach, Yoli Cassis, and just one of the things that she said to me in the beginning, she said, Siri, I will care way more about who you are as a human being than what you achieve as an athlete. And that was so powerful to me because it's true. It doesn't matter how much you win or what you achieve. Number one, you've got to be a good person and you've got to take care of not only yourself, but all those around you and love and respect and, try to bring out the best in all those around you. And I love that about her, and that really, really influenced me a lot.
And I know that's what you live by because, and we have this incredible culture and you have such beautiful athletes and they're such beautiful human beings and somehow they're just drawn to you and you're drawn to them. And, if they're not like that, they're sifted out pretty quickly, organically on their own. But it's a true testament to you. And I just love every single one of them. And I just feel so blessed. Just the same with our beautiful, incredible athletes in our Team Serious Triathlon Club. Amazing. They're just an awesome bunch of people. And speaking of that, I wanted to talk about quickly some of the stuff with our club because we're going to offer a month's free trial for anyone listening. If you're a weekend warrior or a triathlete that's listening, we want to offer a month free trial. And in that, you're actually we just signed a deal to get 35% off the Feedback Sports trainers, which are amazing. They're compact. You can carry them anywhere. Pack them up into a little bag. They weigh about 25 pounds. Siri, thank you for doing that. We love them. And I think they're definitely, without doubt, the best trainer that I've ever used. It's smooth. They're light, they're durable. You can use them as a mechanic stand. So I wanted to mention that. But you also get, I won't go into the deals, but we get up to 60% off all our sponsors. There's so many things. We've just given free training plans for the off season. If you do sign up for the premium membership, which is not much at all, you get over $2,000 worth of value, including a 10-week off-season beginner plan and intermediate advanced plan for Olympic and 70.3 Ironman distance. So,
and guys, we have put our hearts and souls into making these programs. So it's not just a generic plan, swim this day, bike this day, run this day. They are plans that Beck and I have put a ton of time into. And from what we hear, there are amazing results. People that are following these plans have made some incredible progress and they're loving it. So we couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, and we have some incredible sponsors. We have Roca, Normatec, Quintana Roo, Profile Design on running shoes, rest beds, and now
Rudy Project.
Sports, Rudy Project. We're just so grateful.
Yes. So guys, join the team. But most importantly, and you don't have to be a triathlete. You can be a swimmer, you can be a biker, you can be a runner, or you can be someone that just wants to surround themselves with people that are living life to the fullest, totally present, and wanting to be the best that they can be and bring out the best in all those around them.
Yep, that is right. And I'm just so grateful for our incredible Tri Club members. But on this note, Siri, not long till Kona, a couple of weeks, and we're not going to talk about it because it's coming close. We get a little nervous coming to Kona, but some of your athletes are leaving for the Hawaii Ironman. If you don't know what it is, guys, it's the World Championships, and it's in Kona, Hawaii. So Siri's heading off there soon, and you must be excited about that.
So excited, Beck, and I'm just so proud of you and all the incredible results you've had with your athletes this season. I just feel like having this kind of a supportive crew around us, and again, celebrating all of our supporters, all of our team members, it just creates an energy of magic, and it really has helped bring everybody to a whole new level, along with, of course, hard training, disciplined work, great attitude, and being willing to put everything you have into being the best that you can be.
Conversations from the world of women's sports. This is Wisp Sports Radio.
And you guys could actually follow. Siri goes live a lot. She's a little obsessed with social media, which is a good thing. It's created great brand awareness for us. But she does go live from a lot of sessions. So you guys can join Team Sirius Tri Club by going to www.teamsiriustriclub.com or email me, teamsiriustriclub@gmail.com. But we must mention Siri quickly because this is our big why. And if you have a deep enough why, you will find the way. And ours is actually, our financial freedom is to save, the reason is so we can save more horses from slaughter. Right now we're trying to pass the SAFE Act in Congress and it's got momentum. There's enough votes in Congress to be able to move it towards getting the votes in Congress. So Siri, Believe Ranch and Rescue, let's tell people quickly about that.
Well, we have in the last 16 months saved 76 horses from slaughter. These beautiful souls have served their owners. They've been racehorses. They have, made their owners a lot of money, or they've given lessons for 15 years, and then something happens where the owners just have had enough, or the horse gets old, and they just discard them at the feedlot, which is a torturous process that happens over a couple weeks' time, where there's very little food, very little water, lots of being beat up because there's too many horses in one tiny little space, and it ends up in a brutal, brutal slaughter.
And you heard it right, guys. They are shipped to Mexico and Canada to be slaughtered for meat for human consumption, and the way that that's done is absolutely horrific. So we had to find a way to get the financial freedom to be able to support that. And all of the money from Team Sirius Tri Club and our coaching, once we've paid all our bills, goes towards our Believe Ranch and Rescue. And you can find that at www.believeranchandrescue.org.
And please understand that once we save these horses, they come back after medical care and training to truly transform the lives of the humans that they touch. And that is through teaching self-awareness and leadership and healing, equine therapy. These animals have so much to give. Please let us set a new standard where animals should not be neglected, tortured, animals should not suffer, and they deserve the same kind of life that we do as humans.
Thank you, Siri. And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you want to follow more stories from Wisp Sports, go to wispsports.com.
Thank you to our sponsors, Rest Performance at restperformance.com, the world's only smart bed designed for performance, recommended by elite coaches like me, and used worldwide by incredible and inspirational athletes.
Thank you for listening and supporting women in